You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Monday, April 23rd, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is the top 5 things to know in the market on Monday from investing.com. First thing to know is Treasury yields continue higher. U.S. 10-year nears 3%. U.S. Treasury yields continued higher with the benchmark 10-year note reaching an intraday high of 2.998%, a level not seen since January of 2014. It was last at 2.99%, that's up 3.9 basis points or 1.3%, inching closer to the psychologically important 3% threshold, as strengthening inflation prospects added to expectations of a more hawkish approach from the Federal Reserve. The 10-year yield has not been above 3%, the point at which strategists and fund managers say equities will really hurt, since early 2014. It started the year at 2.4%. The second thing to know is the dollar jumps to 1.5-month highs. The increase in U.S. bond yields helped underpin the dollar, which jumped to a more than 7-week high against a basket of major currencies in early action. Expectations that the Federal Reserve would raise interest rates 3 more times in 2018 was also supporting the greenback. The U.S. dollar index, which measures the greenback strength against a basket of 6 major currencies, was up 0.4% to 90.44, the strongest level since March 1st. The third thing to know today is the U.S. stock futures point to a lower open. U.S. futures pointing to a lower open as Treasury yields resumed to move higher and investors waited for another big week of earnings to get underway. The Dow Blue Chip futures fell 38 points, or about 0.2%. The S&P 500 futures dipped 3 points, or nearly 0.1%, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ 100 futures fell 7 points, or roughly 0.1%. Fourth thing to note today is Alphabet kicks off a busy week of earnings. This week will be the busiest week of the first quarter earnings season, with more than a third of the S&P 500 set to report. Most of the focus will be on the FANG Group stocks. After the bell on Monday, Google parent Alphabet is expected by analysts to report a 22% increase in revenue to $30.3 billion, with net income rising 21%, equivalent to $9.28 per share on a non-GAAP basis. The fifth thing to know is oil starts the week in negative territory. Oil prices started the week in negative territory as market players continued to weigh a steady increase in U.S. production levels against ongoing efforts by major global crude producers to reduce a global supply glut. Our second story today is from dailyfx.com. Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum strength faces a technical test. Recently, the outlook was maintained that rallies in cryptocurrencies were likely to fizzle out rather than garner momentum, sellers' bounces, if you will. This has obviously been an incorrect view in the near term, with the group continuing to rally strongly. However, the longer-term outlook remains the same as far as this corner is concerned. Lower prices as massive bubble continues to deflate. Another solid test of the health of markets looks to be nearing, with Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin each approaching levels and lines which could turn upward momentum into downward momentum. How they react will be of most importance, as price levels will either be validated as worthy points of resistance or not. That is, if sellers show up in earnest, then the outlook of another downturn will grow legs. In the event we don't see a strong turn in momentum, then the group is expected to continue its rebound. So it will be all about watching price action this week. Our third story today is from investing.com, crude oil prices weekly outlook for this week. Oil traders will continue to weigh on ongoing efforts by major global crude producers to reproduce a supply glut against a steady increase in U.S. production levels in the week ahead. Members of the joint OPEC and non-OPEC Ministerial Monitoring Committee held a meeting in Saudi Arabia Friday in which they confirmed that compliance with the deal to cut output is at its highest ever, further stoking expectations for market rebalancing later this year. OPEC and 10 producers outside the cartel, including Russia, have been holding back oil output by about 1.8 million barrels a day since the start of last year to slash global inventories to the 5-year average. The arrangement is set to expire at the end of 2018. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Monday, April 23rd, 2018. Your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Pastorelli, Trade Smart. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.